here with your gorgeous self.
Don't make me laugh till I snort again. That's some bullshit. I'm in the performance, so it's look good.
Good evening, Santa Fe. How are you? So it's kind of funny because I've been feeling a lot of nostalgia lately, looking through old yearbook photos. Ever notice how everyone in the past looked aggressively unattractive? Like every yearbook photo from the 80s and 90s looks like the before picture in a cautionary tale. Kids today have ring lights and filters, and we had fluorescent lighting in trauma. Which means somewhere out there is a massive archive of childhood photos. The largest collection of bad haircuts and orthodontic regret in modern history. Not really sure what kind of catalog Epstein thought he was getting, but it must have been quite a disappointment. Oh! Explains a lot about modern power, though. Because if you look at the people running the world today, they look exactly like the weirdest kid in your high school yearbook. Not just ugly, but overconfident ugly. The kind of guy whose senior portrait looked like he was explaining cryptocurrency to girls who were clearly trying to leave the conversation. You know the guy, eyes that say, "I will absolutely start a podcast." And somehow these guys grew up and run everything. Which explains capitalism. Because when mediocre men get power, they don't build good systems. They build big systems. Because insecure men believe size equals competence. Everything must be bigger and scalable. Capitalism is basically male insecurity with unchecked venture capital. Unfortunately, I've dated that guy. That's how I learned male insecurity can build both a startup and a missile program. Everything in capitalism is about dominance metrics. My company is bigger, my yacht is bigger, my rocket is bigger. Listen, sir, if the rocket is that big, you should probably see a doctor. And the powerful men running the system always have files. Whenever rich, powerful men get caught doing horrific things, there's always a paper trail, documents. Spreadsheets, folders, the Epstein files. Like it's a Google Drive. Like somewhere there's a desktop icon labeled crimes _ all caps final _ all caps real _ V21. I'm proud of New Mexico for the investigation at Zorro Ranch. It's nice to see anyone doing anything. Zorro Ranch is an amazing name, isn't it? Because the original Zorro was a masked hero who protected ordinary people and fought corporate elites. Apparently Jeffrey Epstein heard that story and said, "Netanyahu, can we buy it?" The real Zorro rode in on a horse and carved a giant Z with a sword, a big dramatic mark. Men love leaving big dramatic marks. Every guy wants to believe he's leaving a legendary mark. But the billionaires running the world, their mark isn't carved with a sword. No, it's carved with shell companies and lawyers. Just kidding, unsolicited dick pics and pedophilia. Same dramatic flourish, very different equipment. Now, I do want to acknowledge something. I'm a white woman, which means I belong to a group with a very uncomfortable historical resume. White men built white supremacy, but white women decorated it. White men built the system, white women ran the HOA of white supremacy. So we weren't always the architects of oppression, but we were definitely sending the passive-aggressive emails about it. Hi, everyone. Just a reminder that equality needs to stay within the approved neighborhood guidelines. White men built the hierarchy, and then white women showed up like, "Oh my God, this system is terrible, but have you seen the drapes? They're repurposed Confederate flags." Oppression, but with interior design. And here's the thing about white supremacy that people don't like to say out loud. It was never about superiority. It was always about insecurity. The entire system was built by men who were terrified that without power, violence, or wealth, they might have to compete as actual human beings. And that scared the hell out of them. Instead, they built empires, colonialism, global capitalism. Thousands of years of history because some guy somewhere thought, well, if I can't impress her, maybe I can conquer a continent. A bunch of insecure men decided then, maybe if we dominate the entire planet, nobody will notice our inadequacy. White supremacy is basically the largest overcompensation project in human history. And now we are probably in World War III with Iran. And politicians talk about war like it's a masculinity contest. My missiles are bigger, my military is stronger, my deterrence strategy is longer and more powerful. At some point, global conflict just sounds like locker room bragging, but with nuclear codes. America treats war like a streaming service. Every few years, we get a new season we didn't ask for, and we don't remember how it started. Season 1, Operation Desert Storm. Season 2, Operation Iraqi Freedom. Bonus episodes, Hunt for Bin Laden. Season 3, now streaming, Operation Epic Fury. We're in a Middle Eastern cinematic multiverse. Remember when war used to require Congress in a declaration? Now it's basically a limited series with drones. And like every streaming service, they promise this one will wrap everything up. Okay, Netflix. I meant Congress, sorry. Late-stage capitalism is basically insecure men building an entire financial universe to prove something. And now the rest of us have to tip it. You ever notice every machine asks for a tip now? And go to self-checkout, would you like to tip 10, 15, 20%? Tip who? The barcode? For what, it's emotional AI labor? Thousands of years of empire, global capitalism, and financial markets, and the final result is a vending machine asking me for more money so the company doesn't have to pay a living wage. Eventually, we'll just get a button that says, do you want to donate directly to the CEO's third huge yacht? Money does something amazing in this country. It doesn't just buy power. It hides people who shouldn't have it. Like they're wearing a mask. Masks in stories used to mean something. Zorro wore a mask to protect the powerless. The KKK wore masks because they were cowards. But the powerful men running the world today, they don't need masks anymore. They have money. Money can hide anything. Cruelty, corruption, incompetence. The scariest part isn't cruelty, it's the fragility. Every empire in history collapsed because of greed, power, and ego. And if the world ends because of male insecurity, I won't even be surprised. I'll just be fucking pissed. Because women have been identifying this problem for centuries and nobody listened. Probably because the assessment was too small for the egos to handle it. Money is the greatest mask ever invented. It can even hide the fact that the guy running the world was the weirdest kid in your yearbook. And that guy who looked like the villain in high school was. Thank you, everyone.